If you're in Saas, there's 3 letters you gotta know. NDR, net dollar retention. This is the value of your recurring revenue or how much your customer base is growing or shrinking over time. I'm Chris Cunningham, one of the founding members of ClickUp, and the reason why I know exactly how important NDR is because we've raised $540 million in funding. And every time we raised, NDR was brought up. And it's also a huge reason why we got great funding, because we had strong NDR. Now, there's many different factors that play into NDR. But when it comes down to it, there's really just 2. Number 1, churn. How many customers are leaving your company? That's important. You have to take care of your customers. If you don't, churn will really hurt your NDR. Number 2, expansion revenue. How much are you selling to the customers you already have with new products, premium products, or are they growing into a bigger company and growing with you? All right, let's make this visual. Picture a bucket of water. With this bucket of water, you have some small holes. Those small holes are the churn. That's your customers leaving. But you can pour more water into the bucket. This is your expansion revenue. Now, how this plays out and how much water you have after this, that is your NDR. At the end of the day, NDR will tell you the overall effects with the leaking and the water added, so you know your NDR. But now, let me give you a step-by-step explanation in case someone asks you your NDR. Number 1, start with existing revenue. So take a time period, I'd say the beginning of the year, and get all the customers you have and all the recurring revenue you have. Step number 2, account for churn. So take any revenue that was lost from any customers who downgraded or left your product during that same time frame. Step number 3, add expansion revenue. So during that same time period, take any revenue that was gained from companies who grew, added more people, or upgraded. Number 4, and this is important, make sure you exclude new customers. NDR is all about the current customer base, and whereas new customers are great, they're not gonna help your NDR. So make sure you focus on the current customer base you have. Number 5, calculate the ratio. This is actually pretty simple. All you wanna do is take your ARR, that number you had at the beginning, and then you wanna subtract your churn, you wanna add your expansion, and then divide it by that same ARR again. And that will give you your NDR. And that'll give you the number. If the result is over 100%, that means you're gaining and your NDR is good. If it's under, you need to make some changes, focus on churn, focus on more expansion. And lastly, number 6, just interpret the result. Again, 100% is really that number that means you're growing and going to be sustainable in the future. If it's under that, you can make changes, you can get better. It doesn't mean your company's going down, but it is a number you really want to focus on because NDR is so important. It's what investors and so many other companies are looking for to see the longevity of a company. All right, you know what NDR is, you know how to calculate it, you need to know why it's important. It is a key metric for hypergrowth in companies. It's one of the main things that people look at if they're going to give you funding or go public. In fact, the average company on Crunchbase that does go public has an NDR close to 110%. And the ones that go really successful have closer to 120 or 130. So make sure you're studying NDR, make sure you know yours, and keep adjusting for churn and expansion rate. And if you do this, you'll be successful. I'm Chris Cunningham, the B2B MC. That's a quick breakdown of NDR. If you have any questions, as always, hit me up, and you better bump this song that's on my Spotify playlist.
How much money we retain, the customers bounce around. NDR, you know what it means. Net dollar retention is the key to our dreams.